To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
G'day everybody, welcome to Rides and Vibes. Today we're going over Disneyland's 70th anniversary with the original rides and attractions. Disneyland opened on July 17, 1955, a day Walt famously called Black Sunday because of all the chaos. And today we're celebrating 70 years by looking back at every attraction from that opening day that's still running now. We'll explore each ride, so buckle up as we take a tour through time. We're going to start on Main Street, USA. One of the original spots is Main Street Cinema. On opening day, it played silent films for guests. Today, it still shows Disney short cartoons like Steamboat Willie. Just outside, the horse-drawn streetcar trundles along Main Street, and tradition since day one. These beautiful trolleys pulled by majestic Belgian horses adds to the early 1900s charm Walt imagined, and they still carry guests along the brick road. Nearby is Disneyland's railroad station. This steam train was inspired by Walt Disney's own backyard railroad. It has been circling the park just like on opening day back in 1955. It was simply a scenic ride. Today, it's the same similar route, but now with extra features. You pass through detailed dioramas of the Grand Canyon and prehistoric primal world that were added later. It's fun, relaxing ride that remains true to the original idea.
Before you enter this realm, I'd like to read this dedication, which will be inscribed on a plaque. Frontierland. It is here that we experience the story of our country's past. The color, romance, and drama of frontier America as it developed from wilderness trails to roads, riverboats, railroads, and civilization. A tribute to the faith, courage, and ingenuity of our hardy pioneers who blazed the trails and made this progress possible.
Next, we head to Frontierland, where you'll find the Mark Twain Riverboat. It was originally called the Mark Twain Steamboat when it debuted. This big paddle wheel boat gives a 14-minute scenic cruise around Tom Sawyer's Island, just as it did in 1955. When it was first built for Disneyland, it was the first real working steamboat constructed in the US in 50 years. On opening day, the Twain had so many guests packed on board that it leaned dangerously to one side. But today, it's tuned up and floats smoothly. The boat itself hasn't changed much, aside from routine repainting and maintenance, so riding it is like stepping back in time. From Frontierland, we're going to swing into Adventureland.
Well, Walt, it seems to me we've been everywhere, haven't we?
Well, I hope so. I don't know.
Say, haven't we missed something?
Seems like it.
A whole land?
Adventureland.
Oh, that's my favorite.
The Jungle Cruise has been wowing guests since opening day. Originally a serious river safari through animatronic jungles. Today, it's famous for its punny skipper jokes. On that first busy day, it even broke down under all the crowds. In recent years, Disney has updated the Jungle Cruise to remove outdated cultural scenes and have added new animal scenes, but the core ride remains a boat ride through tropical scenes. It's one of those classic Disney adventures where the spirit is the same, even if the narration has a modern humor.
Before our preview of Tomorrowland, I'd like to read these few words of dedication. A vista into a world of wondrous ideas, signifying man's achievement, a step into the future with predictions of constructive things to come. Tomorrow offers new frontiers in science, adventure, and ideals, the atomic age, the challenge of outer space, and the hope for a peaceful and unified world.
Up next, we swing into Tomorrowland. Though back in 1955, Tomorrowland was still pretty bare. The ride Autopia launched with the park. In Autopia, guests drive small cars along a guided track, Walt's vision of the future highways. It was generally futuristic for the time. Remember, the Interstate Highway Act hadn't even been signed yet. Opening day saw enthusiastic guests zooming around, but it got a bit too rough. Many cars crashed into each other and nearly all the 36 cars were wrecked. After that, Disney added bumpers and guide rails to keep the cars on track. Over the decades, the ride got new cars and engines. 2008, Honda engines replaced the old Kawasaki ones, and soon Disney plans to switch to fully electric cars. But you're still steering an Autopia car just like in 1955. Finally, we arrive in Fantasyland, which is full of original attractions.
And now now the plaque reserved for last. A few words of dedication for the happiest kingdom of them all, Fantasyland. Here is a world of imagination, hopes, and dreams. In this timeless land of enchantment, the age of chivalry, magic, and make-believe are reborn, and fairy tales come true. Fantasyland is dedicated to the young and the young in heart, to those who believe that when you wish upon a star, your dreams do come true.
King Arthur's carousel is beautifully restored merry-go-round. The carousel itself predates Disneyland from around 1922. He wanted it to be all horses, no exotic animals. So the team resculptured some of the horses to make sure they looked like they were galloping. It's been repainted and polished many times, but it retains the same charm that enchanted guests 70 years ago. Nearby is Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, a dark ride based on The Wind in the Willows. You board Toad Hall's automobile and ride through storybook scenes. Unlike other Fantasyland dark rides, Mr. Toad's mostly uses painted two-dimensional backgrounds, giving it a distinct old-fashioned look. The ride itself hasn't changed much in concept, though more 3D pops were added over time. So today, riders get much of the same madcap adventure Mr. Toad did in 1955. Another day one classic is Peter Pan's Flight. Riders board a tiny pirate ship and fly over London and Neverland. It's always been a big hit, and it's been refurbished for several times, but it's still essentially the same magical flight it was in 1955. Not far off is a Mad Tea Party, the spinning teacups. It's inspired by Alice in Wonderland and was so popular Disney eventually built versions of it in every single park around the world. It's even height restriction free so everyone can ride. Before 2004, this ride could spin a little bit faster, but Disney tightened the speed for safety, so those of us who rode it back in the 90s remember it feeling a little bit wilder than it does now. For Disneyland's 50th anniversary, they even added a special golden teacup, a limited time only decoration. Otherwise, it's the same classic tea party spin we all love. Snow White's dark ride has undergone the most change. It opened up in 1955 as Snow White and Her Adventures. Then in 1983, it was rethemed to Snow White's Scary Adventures. Back then, they even added the Evil Queen's castle facade. Very recently, it was refreshed again in 2021 and renamed Snow White's Enchanted Wish. In the 1983 version, guests kept stealing the ride's poison apple prop, so Disney replaced it with a projected image of the apple. Today, the ride still tells the Snow White story, just with a brighter finale. Casey Junior Circus Train is a friendly little train ride through miniature storybook landscapes. It's styled after the circus train from Dumbo. The original Casey Junior cars, the sleigh-type carriages, actually came from the very carousel we just talked about. Casey Junior hasn't changed much. The kids and many adults still love waving at the tiny castles and villages as the train chugs by. And then we finish with the storybook canal boats. This gentle boat ride was originally called Canal Boats of the World. On opening day, they took guests past miniature scenes of countries, but they ran into some issues right away. So many weeds grew in the banks that workers labelled them as exotic plants with Latin names to pretend it was intentional. That problem was soon fixed. Today, the boats take you through a mouth of Monstro the whale into whimsical Disney scenes, a different theme than in 1955. But the slow boat ride through Storybook Land is the same kind of peaceful voyage it always was. Each of these attractions remind us of Walt Disney's original vision. Disneyland's opening day may have been chaotic, but it gave birth to lasting classics. From steam trains to riverboats to flying pirate ships and spinning teacups, the spirit of 1955 lives on in Disneyland's 70-year-old legacy. As Walt said, Disneyland is a work in progress, and it keeps growing even now. But on this anniversary, we can ride, smile, and remember the magic of opening day is still here with us. Happy 70th birthday, Disneyland. May the adventures never stop. So that's it from us here today at Rides and Vibes. And as always, keep riding those vibes. And I hope you have a wonderful day.